Got my eyes straight ahead, got my head in the game. With the red light on, I'm just waiting for the change. Keep my head down low.
Hi, Jay Fallon. Thanks for listening to The Slippery Slope. So, I want to address something that came up. A couple of people have brought to my attention, and I did, obviously, I had realized, but a couple of people have pointed out that I've seemed to have been shadow banned on YouTube. I would say it's not really a shadow anymore, it's just flat out banned. I believe. I believe this is because of the things that I've brought up about QPS, because I've consistently spoken out about issues regarding specifically Queensland Police Service, whom I used to work for. If you don't know, I used to be a police officer with the Queensland Police Service, and I worked majority of that time. I worked within the was seconded to the Crime and Corruption Commission as a working within the covert surveillance unit, conducting surveillance, physical surveillance, covert physical surveillance. There's all different types of surveillance anyway. So that was the area that I was in. So people have pointed out that I've been shadow banned, and I believe this is why I've been shadow banned, because I've spoken out so many times about what's gone on within QPS and the lack of leadership. You know, especially when the old commissioner was in, the one who brought in the mandates, the rules for the mandate, in the mandate, that you had to get the jab. If you didn't get the jab, well, then you got booted out, like what happened to me. This is what happened to me. So I didn't go along with the mandates brought in for the COVID jab. I was stood down with 2 weeks pay, and then stood down without pay while undergoing an investigation. While I was investigated as though I was a criminal, and yet other police officers who did actually do who whose behaviour was verging on criminal, they were fine as long as they got the jab. And I brought up several instances where police officers have gotten themselves into some serious trouble, and yet the Queensland Police Union have gone into bat for them. They've been able to keep their jobs. However, someone like myself, and there's plenty of other officers out there like me and former officers who did not go along with the mandate, could see that it was wrong, and yet they were thrust out of the role. So I believe this is why I've had the shadow ban. And also, I'm going to bring up this article just to refresh your memory. There's a few things I want to talk about, but just to start off before I want to get into the main article that I'm going to talk about, which just happens to be related to QPS. So this is the other reason why I believe I've got the shadow ban. So just to refresh your memory, and I spoke about this at the end of last year before our last election. Police Commissioner Golszewski. Now he has stood down at the moment because he's being treated for cancer. So Goals, if you're watching, all the best. I do pray that you get better, that treatment goes well. But he's stood down because of cancer. He's undergoing cancer treatment. But remember this. Police Commissioner Golszewski unavailable as criticism mounts on dangerous policy. So the Commissioner refuses to respond to heavy criticism of an internal directive adding journalists incompatible with QPS values to a declarable association policy, including criminals. So what the go is there when you're in the police, when you're in Queensland Police, I'll only speak to Queensland Police because that's where I was. You have to fill out a form with your declarable associates. So they, just in case, you want to declare that you're actually friends with bikies, or criminals, whatever, this kind of thing. It really doesn't work, as I have alluded to. When I was in the Triple C, we investigated. There was one officer in particular. This officer was known. This officer, it was known because you could look in their history and see that they were associated with a criminal organization, a known criminal organization. But due to the way QPS had decided to lower their standards because they wanted, they were going down the lines of DEI, and they wanted the 50-50 male female ratio. So they lowered standards, and because they lowered standards across the board, they got a plethora of people in, and who are probably still in, a lot of them who should not be in the job, to be quite frank. Anyway, this is how you have to make this declarable associations thing. So they've made this, and they've decided that, hey, journalists now, you have to put them, you have to put journalists, so they're incompatible with QPS values. So what does that tell you? That tells me that Queensland Police Service, even though they say that they want to be open, honest, transparent, this is why they report when officers supposedly get in trouble. This is why they tell us all the details, some of the details, because they're trying to be transparent. They want transparency, but they don't really want transparency. They just want transparency. They want to appear to be transparent. Like the good doctor told me. Like the good doctor told me. It's all about perception, Jason. It's all about perception. Anyway, that's what he said. So goals. So that's what he brought up. So commissioner won't say if he will overturn an internal directive with journalists incompatible with QPS values in a declarable association policy covering criminals and religious extremists. So I believe this is part of why I've been shadow banned, because I've spoken out about it. Because even though I don't consider myself a journalist, I don't think I am. I don't think I would fit into that because I'm just running a podcast. Okay. However, for starters, they would be able to put myself down the slippery slope, saying, well, they would probably believe that I would fall into, if not the religious extremist, well, then we could put him slightly in the religious extremist section, even though I don't think I am at all. I'm just a Christian, and they'd be able to put me, well, he's slightly, in their view, religious extremist and journalist. So I think this is why I've been shadow banned, and this is what I think QPS have done. And I think this has happened. My reasons for believing this has happened is because of because of some correspondence I've received as well from people. Put it that way. So after saying all that, I've still got to talk about today's article. This coming out in the Courier Mail. Queensland Police Service paying 500K, 500,000, that's $500,000 a month to lease an empty Stones Corner building. If you don't know where Stones Corner is, that's a suburb. It's an area in Brisbane. It's it's a bit of a funky little area. Generally you get some cool coffee, some good coffee down there. This building, actually, it's just down the road from where, what was that cafe I used to go to? Anyway, you get a good breakfast in that just around the corner. Queensland Police is leasing an empty building for the same cost as hiring out multiple mansions or a private island hideaway. Who cares about that? The $240 million rental deal, $240 million rental for a Stones Corner building. How? Oh, how do people in Queensland government not get put in jail for some of these deals that they do? Which to me just seems it's blatantly obvious. They're just, they've got some little side hustle going where they've gotten some payoffs in the background. Anyway, so which was labelled one of the worst agreements ever made by a department in the state government. The Courier Mail revealed the controversial 15-year deal and its details last year, including that developers only paid $45 million for the building. So the rental deal is $240 million, but the building itself was only paid for $45 million. How does that work? There was an option for an 8-year extension in the deal worth up to $240 million, which has been labelled as one of the worst lease agreements. The Courier Mail has been told the service is paying about $500,000 a month to lease the building. It has been for months while it awaits the findings of a Crime and Corruption Commission investigation into the deal. And like I said, I was seconded to the Crime and Corruption Commission for years. They're investigating it. It's costing the government, it's costing you and I $500,000 a month. The Crime and Corruption Commission are not known for their for being able to investigate things in a speedy fashion. They are the very definition of turtle speed. It's shocking how slow they will go. The Queensland Police Service did not respond, because they're open and transparent, except for when you point out or you ask questions about how they're wasting money, taxpayer money, 500 grand a month. Oh, sorry, we can't tell you about that. The Queensland Police Service did not respond to direct questions sent by the Courier Mail on Tuesday about the current situation of the lease and costs, saying only that it was inappropriate to How is it inappropriate? It's inappropriate now, okay, to comment. We can't possibly comment. My goodness, it goes on just comparing it to, other things that you can purchase for that same price. Um, anyway, the police service has declined to list specific elements of the lease agreement other than saying it is meeting its contractual obligations. Commissioner Steve Golszewski ordered an audit of the deal in August because I believe the deal came out while Katarina Carroll, she oversaw it. She was overseeing the Queensland Police Service. She stood down in, under mysterious circumstances because she was not a good leader. Let's put it that way. Anyway, so Golszewski, he's ordered an audit into it. It's still ongoing. Only 500 grand a month. It's nothing. So dealing with Quarter Mentha tasked to investigate after Golszewski said he had concerns about the cost and governance. Concerns. Well, I wonder if Katarina Carroll's going to get dragged in before the courts to answer a few questions, before Parliament to answer a few questions. Wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be funny if, after all the mandate rubbish she put everyone through, if she ended up going to jail? um, in November, Golszewski referred the deal to the Triple C for transparency purposes. Transparency purposes. They can't answer any questions, but for transparency purposes. And because he was required to report anything where there was a reasonable suspicion of misconduct or other corrupt activity. So was it for transparency purposes or because he's required to? The Courier Mail asked Queensland Police Service on Tuesday a range of questions, including about the current lease situation and cost, any negotiations with the building owners, the progress of the building fit out when police would move in, and the Triple C investigation. A spokesman did not answer any of the questions, only saying it would be inappropriate to provide further comment due to the Triple C investigation. What an excuse due to the Triple C investigation. Because we are open, honest, transparent, and it's not our money. So really, who gives a damn? Because it's public money. Public money. So is anyone actually going to answer for this? Is someone going to go to jail? They're not open, they're not transparent. They are liars. Liars. They are more focused on shadow banning me from saying things about them on YouTube and Spotify. Heaven forbid someone point out that they couldn't investigate a chook raffle. But hey, open and transparent. Open and transparent. Yeah, sure you are. Look, I do not believe them for a second when they say that they are open, when they say they're transparent. When they say, I believe that the previous government was as corrupt as you could possibly get. They were as corrupt as just, all the other Labor governments within Australia. But let's not, it's not just Labor. The Liberals, I don't think, are any better when it comes to this kind of thing. But the Queensland Police Service, it needs a thorough clean out. Whoever made this deal, how hard is it to investigate? You go back, you look at who signed the contracts, who made the agreements with the building owners, who was investigating whether they should move in or not, and you start questioning them. You stand everyone down. Hey, We're going to give you what we gave all the people with the mandates: 2 weeks' pay. Then you get stood down without pay while we continue to investigate this alleged illegal activity where you're costing the taxpayer $1 million every 2 months, nearly $1 million every 2 months. We're going to investigate that, and you get stood down without pay. Oh, and by the way, like what happens with the police, because you work for the government, well, you can't go and get another job while we're investigating. You can't go and get another job while you're still employed, while you're still attached with the government. I don't. It shouldn't be taking this long, but it's costing the government money. It's costing the people money. It's not costing any of these people. It's not costing the Triple C money. That's why this investigation is still rolling on months. If they organized this investigation, ordered the investigation, what was it, August last year? It's not costing the Triple C any money. They're just investigating. They should have had it done within about a month. Heads should have rolled. People should be standing before the courts. This is all my opinion. You're probably not going to see this because I'm, like I said, shadow banned, but whatever. I'll continue to speak out anyway. My name's Jay Fallon, former police officer with the Queensland Police Service, who it looks like are extremely corrupt, along with the Crime and Corruption Commission. Apparently, you can't investigate this in a timely manner. Anyway, that's all my opinion. That's all it is, just my opinion. Go and check out my music, Jay Fallon, on Apple, Spotify, all the good stuff, YouTube. Thanks for listening to The Slippery Slope.
They just fuel a desire that will take me higher. I'm on fire.